We're now on Dcad lesson 13E, and we're continuing to deal with drawing organization and sheet notes. One of the things that I want to do is add a little something to the wall bracing plan legend. So I'm going to hit Z for zoom and zoom up on that wall bracing plan. And I'm going to take the existing item down here on the brace panel and move it up a little bit so I have a little bit more room. So I'm going to select that, just use a rectangular selection, move near my handle and hit the comma to gravity move to gravity move, and hit M to move, and I'm just arrowing up a little bit there, about like so, maybe down one, and setting a point there to initiate that command. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm hit escape, so it unselects it. I'm going to move the title to the drawing down a little bit so I have a little more room. Getting near my selection handle there, and gravity move using the comma, and hit M for move, and arrow down about one. I'll try that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit escape to unselect that. I'm going to grab this M1 wall line. I'm going to use that for an item in the legend for the drawing. So I'm going to just select this M1 circle, and also hold down Shift and select the dashed line that's part of it. And I'm going to set a handle here on it. Z for zoom, move up a little bit. I'm just going to set the handle right here where these two meet. So I'm going to go here to set selection handle and right click, and then hit my scroll button to initiate the command. So I set the handle there. Now zoomed out using my scroll button. I'm going to zoom up now on this brace panel in the legend here, and hit Z for zoom to zoom up, and I'm going to hit N to duplicate. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it down there kind of close, about like so. And then I'm going to hit escape to hit the control to zoom out. I hit escape to unselect those items. And now I'm going to zoom back up on the brace panel drawing and select this line, and I'm actually going to trim the line, hitting Control Dash, and just hold down my left button and scoot this down until it gets about pretty close to where this other one is, and hit that command again, basically Shift Dash, and I can move it in and out. Now I'm just going to right click to the end of our brace panel line, which makes it the same length. So now I'm going to hit Z for zoom and zoom up on this, and I'm going to just cannibalize this text. So I'm going to select the brace panel text, set a selection handle on the end of the line here, on the right end of the line, and right click to it, hit my scroll button to initiate the command, hit N and to duplicate, and just bring it down here and right click on the end of this bigger dashed line. So now I'm going to hit escape to unselect the brace panel, and now I'm going to select this lower brace panel by just right clicking to it, calling up the info box, and I'm going to change the text. I'm going to highlight where it says brace panel, and actually I'm just going to highlight the panel and turn on caps lock, and hit D, braced wall line. So now we have two items there in our legend for that particular drawing, both indicating the brace panel and also to show what those blue circles and lines are, that they're actually indicating the brace wall line. So I'm going to hit Control W and zoom back out. So that looks fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to utilize the section drawing. And since the section drawing isn't going to be at 1/4 inch scale, it's going to be at 3/8 inch equals 1 foot scale. So it's half again larger than the 1/4 inch scale. So I'm going to hit L for layers, and I'm going to scroll on down. And first thing I'm going to do is in my layers filter here, I'm going to click and just have active and named layers only active. It just eliminates a whole bunch of layers, so you don't have to scroll through too many. And I'm going to activate and actually make it current, my section A, and hit OK. Here's my section A. Oh, I need to hit L for layers and hide my exterior openings, which is layer 3. So I'm going to go up and just turn the light bulb out and click OK, because I had that window in the middle of my section drawing, which I don't want to do. So anyway, I'm going to just select this section drawing, and I'm going to hit R to rotate it. And hang on just a second here. Let me hit escape, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to zoom up on it to make sure there wasn't insulation in that wall. So anyway, I'm reselecting my section A, and I'm going to hit R for rotate and hit tab, and you can see the rotation angle is now highlighted. I'm going to type in 90 and hit enter, and it rotates my section drawing around 90 degrees. And now what I want to do is I want to make it larger, half again. So to match the 3/8 inch scale that we want this to be at. And so I'm just going to unselect it for a moment and get rid of this selection arrow, which is actually in the layer 75 section A layer, and I'm going to select the line, hit delete, and each arrow and hit delete. So that's out of the way. I no longer need that in the drawing. So now I'm going to select our section drawing once again, and I'm going to go up here to the selection zoom and click on that. Then I'm going to hit tab, and what that does is that highlights the dialog box there, and I'm going to type 1.5 because 3/8 inch scale is 1.5 times the size of 1/4 inch scale. So I'm typing in 1.5 and hit enter, and so you can see our section drawing is a little bit bigger now. I'm going to hit M for move and just drag it over here, and actually I'm going to place it down a little bit lower because we're going to do some sleight of hand here to add another detail in. I'm going to need a little bit of room over here to the right side for some of my sheet notes. So we have the section drawing in there now, and actually I'm going to move it down just a little bit lower. M for move, and I'm going to steal a title, and I don't need a north arrow because it doesn't apply to the section drawing, so I'm just going to borrow this title from the wall bracing plan and hit N to duplicate it over here and just drag it over here and then click, left click. Oh, but I did not get my line, so I'm going to hit Control Z, hit escape and try that again. I'm going to select, make sure I get the lines too. There we go. N, drag it over here, duplicate it, and just click and set it there and hit escape. Now I'm going to zoom up on that drawing title, and there's a couple things I want to do. I'm going to select it first and foremost, the whole enchilada there, and I'm going to move it into layer 76. And because that's the text layer for my section, and you can see that layer is turned off right now, and that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and click it, and I'm going to go back to layers now and hit the lock so that I can both work on it and it's visible, and click OK. So if I select any portion of this now, you'll see over here that it is in layer 76 in the info box. So I need to select this and change the scale from 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch equals 1 foot 0. So I'm just going to go over here into the dialog for the info box and type 3/8 and then hit enter. So you can see that it's changed the scale. Now the 3/8 inch equals 1 foot. Hit escape. Now I'm going to create a little V as a marker, and V, and right click to the end of the wall bracing plan text, and then set another point down here somewhere, so kind of arbitrary, and then right click to the beginning of the scale text and click my scroll button to activate that line. And the reason I want to do that is I want to keep that scale info a given distance from the major title text that I'm doing. So I'm going to select this text, and then I'm going to in the info box and selecting it in there, and I'm going to type in section A/A. So that text is quite a bit smaller. So now I'm going to right click on my invert and on my V, and also hold down Shift and select the scale text, hit M, and I'm just going to right click at the end of section AA text there, and it snaps to it, hit escape, and so now I have my scale information at the right spacing from my title information. I'm going to right click now on that V and hit delete to get rid of it, and I'm going to hold down Control and zoom out here just a little bit so we can kind of get an idea of how this fits in with the rest of the drawing. I still need to import my roof plan, which is at a very small scale, and that's going to be over in here. Now, as I import the rest of my text for my sheet note legend, I may end up not going all the way to the end of this, and if that's the case, then I'll be able to move this section drawing over a little bit further to the right. But for right now, I'm going to just leave it right there, and that's how we enlarge a drawing to go to 3/8 inch scale from 1/4 inch scale and place it on this drawing. Now what I'm going to do is call up my roof plan. I'm going to go to L for layers, and I'm just want to see how big it is in there, and call up layer 30, and then hold down Control Shift and click here on support roof plan, and just right click and unlock highlighted layers. Click OK. So we can see the roof plan is pretty small. the text and the title is actually wider, than the roof plan. And also, I'm noticing that the north arrow needs to be fixed. So I'm just actually going to select this north arrow and delete it, and select one from up here, and set a handle on the end of the line there, and hit N to copy it over here, and hit escape, and I'm selecting this one, and I'm going to put it into layer 32, which is the layer 31, which is the text for the roof plan. So this is actually kind of wide and might even get in the way a little bit as I'm moving over in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shrink this down a little bit. So I'm going to select this title for the roof plan, and I'm going to stretch it. So I'm going to go over to the stretch command and create a little selection box by setting 2 points. There's my second point, and I'm going to use a reference point right here and right click to the end of that line. And now I have 3 points set. I'm going to use my arrow to just arrow over to shorten this whole roof plan text a little bit. It just doesn't need to be that long. Then I'm going to set a point and scoot it over. Now I'm going to hit M for move and get it a little more centered there. Hit escape. Now I'm selecting the entire roof plan drawing and hit M for move, and I'm just going to move it right up here, so that way it won't be too much in the way. Okay, hit Control W, and pull the info box out of the way. And you can see that we have a roof plan here, and we may move things around a little bit more if we start doing the sheet notes, just to make sure that we get everything on there. And so that completes our drawing lesson for Dcad for lesson 13E.